The rain hammered against the bus window as I sat with my head pressed against the cold glass, wondering if this was what failure truly felt like. My name is Daniel, and up until that day, I thought my life was on track. I had studied hard, worked harder, and believed that effort alone was enough to win. But life has a way of humbling you at the very moment you feel invincible. That morning, I had walked into a grand office building, my heart pounding with excitement. It was the final round of interviews for a job I had dreamed about for years. I imagined shaking hands with the panel, smiling with confidence, proving that I belonged there. But when I opened my mouth, the words came out weak, uncertain, scattered. My hands trembled, my voice cracked, and suddenly the vision I had built for years shattered into tiny, painful pieces. Walking out of that building, I didn't just lose an opportunity, I lost a part of myself. The voices in my head grew louder. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Everyone else is better than you. I kept replaying my mistakes, the awkward silences, the disappointed look on the manager's face. On the bus ride home, staring out into the storm, I realized something frightening. If I didn't change, really change, I would spend my life trapped in the same cycle of trying, failing, and regretting. My heart ached, but deep inside, a tiny spark of anger lit up. Not anger at the world, but at myself for letting fear win. That night, soaked and exhausted, I stood in front of the mirror and whispered aloud, "This is not the end. This is the beginning." My reflection stared back, broken but determined. Somewhere in that defeated man was the person I wanted to become, and I promised myself that I would find him. This was the day everything changed, the day failure planted the seed of transformation. The morning after that painful interview, I woke up with a heavy chest and swollen eyes from a night of restless sleep. Every part of me wanted to stay in bed, to hide from the world, to let the shame sink me deeper into silence. But another part of me whispered, "Stand up, do something, begin." I walked outside into the crisp morning air. The city was alive. People rushing to work, vendors setting up stalls, children laughing on their way to school. Everyone seemed to have a direction, a purpose. I felt like the only one lost. Yet, as I watched, I realized that all of them, every single one, must have stumbled at some point too. Maybe they had failed interviews, lost jobs, made mistakes. And still, here they were, moving forward. That thought lit a spark inside me. I pulled out a small notebook from my bag, one I usually used for random sketches. On the first page, I wrote in shaky letters, "Day 1 of becoming stronger." Felt almost ridiculous, but also powerful. I didn't know where to start, but I decided that if fear had crushed me in that interview, courage would rebuild me. I listed small, simple actions. Speak with confidence to at least one stranger a day. Wake up 1 hour earlier. Write my thoughts every night. These weren't grand goals, but tiny seeds of discipline. The first challenge came sooner than expected. At a coffee shop, the barista asked, "What can I get you?" Normally, I would mumble quickly, hoping no one noticed me. But that day, I lifted my chin and answered clearly, "A black coffee, please." It was such a small sentence, but when the words came out strong, I felt like I had just conquered a mountain. On my way home, I opened the notebook again and wrote, "Today, I spoke with confidence. Today, I won." I didn't realize it then, but that was the first step in a journey that would change my life forever. The first few days felt exciting. I woke up early, filled my notebook with small victories, and carried a quiet pride with me wherever I went. But by the end of the first week, the excitement began to fade, and the real struggle revealed itself. I remember waking up on a Saturday morning with no alarm, no plan, and a voice in my head whispering, "Why bother? You're not going anywhere." I stayed in bed longer than I should have, staring at the ceiling. My goals, so fresh and inspiring just days before, suddenly felt heavy, almost impossible. When I finally dragged myself to the desk, my notebook lay there, waiting. I flipped through the pages, and instead of encouragement, I felt doubt. The goals I had written seemed childish compared to the mountain of change I needed. What difference would a clear, black coffee, please, ever make in the real world? That was when I hit the wall, the invisible force that stops so many people. Resistance. It's not the loud, dramatic enemy we imagine. It's quiet, soft, almost friendly. It whispers excuses. Rest a little longer. You can try tomorrow. One skipped day won't matter. But I knew, deep down, that giving in would take me back to the very place I wanted to escape. So I fought back the only way I could. I forced myself to get dressed, walk outside, and move my body. I didn't run fast or far, but I ran. The cold air stung my lungs, my legs burned, and my heart pounded. But with every step I felt alive. When I returned, sweating and gasping, I opened my notebook again and wrote. Today, I fought resistance. I showed up. It was messy, imperfect, and painful, but it was progress. And I realized something crucial that day. Success is not built on perfect mornings or easy victories. It is built on showing up when every cell in your body begs you not to. That lesson became the foundation of everything that followed. Weeks passed, and slowly my small notebook began to fill with victories, struggles, and honest confessions. Some days I wrote proudly. Spoke up in a meeting today without fear. Other days, the ink bled with frustration. Felt like a failure again. Couldn't focus. But even with progress, I felt I was missing something. Discipline was carrying me forward, but I still didn't have direction. It was like walking through a forest without a map. Brave, determined, but often lost. That changed the day I met Mr. Hale. I was sitting alone in a quiet corner of the library, rereading the same line of a book without absorbing a word. An older man with silver hair and sharp eyes sat across from me. He studied me for a moment before asking, "What are you searching for, son?" The question startled me. Maybe it was the way he said it. Not casual curiosity, but as if he had already seen the weight on my shoulders. I hesitated, then whispered, "I'm searching for myself." To my surprise, he didn't laugh. Instead, he leaned forward and said, "Good. Most people never ask that question until it's too late." Over the next weeks, we spoke often. Mr. Hale had been many things in life: an entrepreneur, a teacher, even a traveler who had once lived out of a backpack for 2 years. But above all, he was a man who had failed more times than I had dared to try. And yet, he radiated peace, as if every scar had turned into wisdom. One evening, as the golden light filled the library windows, he told me something I would never forget. "Discipline builds the path, Daniel, but purpose is the fire that makes you walk it. Find your fire. Without it, you'll stop the moment things get hard." That night, I went home and stared at my notebook. I realized I had been chasing improvement for the sake of not feeling weak. But what was my true purpose? What was the fire that would keep me moving even when resistance returned? The question burned inside me, and I knew the next part of my journey was not about action, but discovery. For days, Mr. Hale's words echoed in my mind. Discipline builds the path, but purpose is the fire. I carried that sentence everywhere, chewing on it like a riddle I couldn't solve. What was my fire? What was I really chasing? One night, I sat with my notebook, determined not to sleep until I had an answer. I wrote question after question. Why do I want to succeed? What do I fear losing? What do I dream of building? At first, the answers were shallow. I want money. I want respect. I want comfort. But the more I dug, the more I realized those weren't my true desires. They were masks. Then, a memory surfaced. My little sister, Emily, standing at the doorway of my room months ago, her eyes wide with admiration as she said, "One day, I want to be just like you." At the time, I had brushed it off, too busy wallowing in my failures to really hear her. But now, the weight of those words hit me like a storm. She believed in me. She looked up to me not because of what I had, but because of who she thought I could be. And in that moment, I realized my fire wasn't money, or status, or escaping shame. My fire was becoming someone worthy of her belief. Someone she could point to and say, "That's my brother." The discovery lit something inside me that discipline alone never could. The next morning, I didn't just wake up early. I leapt out of bed. I didn't just push myself through exercises. I attacked them with energy. Every struggle became lighter, every obstacle smaller, because now it wasn't just about me. It was about Emily. That week, I went back to Mr. Hale and told him what I had found. He smiled knowingly, as if he had been waiting for me to say it. "Good," he said. "Now you are dangerous. A man with a fire inside cannot be stopped. Not by failure, not by fear, not by time." For the first time, I believed him. Once I had found my fire, everything began to change. My routine was no longer a burden, it was fuel. Each morning I woke with purpose, reminding myself, Emily believes in me. I must become worthy of that belief. And with every passing day, I felt myself transforming. But transformation is never a straight line. Just when you think you've conquered weakness, life finds a way to test you. That test came in the form of another opportunity. Months after my failed interview, I received an unexpected email from a different company. They were impressed by my portfolio and wanted me to come in for an interview. My heart raced. This was it, the chance to redeem myself. But almost immediately, fear struck like lightning. What if I froze again? What if my mind went blank? What if failure repeated itself and crushed me twice? For 2 nights, I barely slept, tossing and turning with those questions. But then I opened my notebook and read the words I had written on day 1. This is not the end. This is the beginning. My hands trembled as I turned the pages, seeing the journey I had walked through, the resistance, the lessons, the fire. Suddenly, the fear seemed smaller compared to the man I had become. The morning of the interview, I stood before the mirror just as I had months ago. But this time, I didn't see a broken reflection. I saw a fighter. I saw discipline carved into my posture, purpose burning in my eyes. When the interview began, my voice was steady. The questions came fast, but I answered with clarity and strength. I didn't try to sound perfect. I spoke with honesty, confidence, and passion. For the first time, I wasn't pretending to be someone else, I was myself fully. When I walked out of that building, I didn't know whether I had the job or not. But I knew something even greater. I had won. Not against the interviewers, not against the competition, but against the old version of me, the one who had once walked out in shame. That was the true breakthrough. A week later, I was sitting at my desk when the phone rang. My heart pounded as I answered. A calm voice on the other end said, "Daniel, congratulations. You got the job." For a moment, silence filled my world. My mind flashed back to the rainy bus ride, to the trembling words, to the crushing weight of failure. And now, here I was, hearing the words I had dreamed of. My hands shook, but not with fear, with joy. I whispered, "Thank you," though inside I wanted to shout it to the world. That evening, I didn't celebrate in a loud way. I walked home slowly, letting the city lights wash over me. Every step felt heavier with gratitude. When I opened the door to our small apartment, Emily ran up to me, her eyes shining. "How did it go?" she asked, bouncing on her toes. I knelt down, smiling wider than I had in years. "I did it, Emily. Your brother did it." She threw her arms around my neck, and in that moment, I understood something important. This victory wasn't mine alone. It belonged to everyone who had believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Later, I met Mr. Hale one last time at the library. He listened quietly as I told him the news. Then he placed a hand on my shoulder and said, "Remember, Daniel, this is not the destination. This is proof that you can rise. There will be new challenges, new failures, new mountains. But now you know you have the fire to climb them all." I nodded, feeling the truth of his words settle deep inside me. Life wouldn't suddenly become easy. Struggles would come again. But I was no longer afraid of falling, because I had learned the greatest lesson of all. Failure is not the end. It is the doorway to becoming who you are meant to be. That night, I opened my notebook to the very first page, where the words "Day 1 of Becoming Stronger" were written. With a steady hand, I added one final line. "This is not the end of my story. This is only the beginning." And I closed the book, ready for whatever came next.